here's a cool idea. Unless they already do this, but in the app, like Fandango, it'll tell you, it'll give you a countdown. Like if you purchase your ticket on there and have it in your Apple Wallet, whatever, it gives you the countdown till your movie starts.
Right.
That would be cool if it had like the Domino's pizza tracker. Like, all right, we're 15 trailers in. You still have 10 commercials before your movie even starts, and have like a little meter fill up. So I like
the meter. Yeah, it's like, okay, Melissa Menounos is still on.
Maria.
Lights, camera, action.
She saw a goat sitting in a rocking chair, cross-legged, like a human.
You fall asleep in the movie, you wake up, everyone's gone.
Look up, and there is this thing. The wingspan covered a lot of the camper.
That was the greatest night in the history of television.
Well, here we are at week 4 of Octoberfest.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the last week.
It was a good one.
Thought it was a strong one.
It was a very strong one.
Yeah. Came out the gate with some fun stuff. We heard some real tellings of ghost stories.
Yeah.
We got a second iteration of Stoned Conspiracies.
That was a great one.
And wow, what did we even do for our first one?
That was
Mothman. Yep, we had a real retelling of Mothman encounter and other spooky stuff. So
yep,
it's been great.
It's been great. It helped me get more into the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like spooky season comes so fast sometimes.
Yeah.
And by the time it's actually Halloween, I'm like, it's like I'm cramming for a test, I'm trying to do anything. I'm watching anything like spooky, scary. I'm just throw anything on where someone's stabbing someone in the face, last second, and then
the local news.
Over. Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
And we saw Halloween Ends last night.
We did Redband podcast on the scene.
Yep.
Experience, a first for us, surprisingly, but not a last, because it got me excited to do it again.
Yeah, you would think a podcast where we talk about movies, we would have seen one together.
Yeah.
It only took us 1 year to get to the theater to see one, which, we did go to the theater for this.
We did.
We could have watched it on Peacock, but we were like, nah, we better go on the scene for this.
No, yeah, it was a necessary thing to do.
Yeah.
Because it reminded me that there's so much to tackle, and just even in terms of the movie theater experience.
Yeah. You can't beat it.
You can't.
Sure, the comfort of your home is nice. You don't have to go anywhere, deal with people.
Right.
Commercials and ads. That's something we'll talk about in a second. And you could be in your underwear if you want.
You could.
But I don't know, man. The atmosphere, the smell.
Yeah.
The smell in the air, the feel.
Mm-hmm.
It just hits different. For me, anyway.
The community. Yep. Being with other people. Although when we first bought the tickets, we were like, we hope it stays empty. And that would have been fun.
Yeah, that would have been great.
But, the fact that other people were there and it was just like we were all collectively confused, you could say, at this one.
Yes.
But, the fact that we were all having the same experience, that's always great, too.
Something that we've been meaning to talk about for a while. Mm-hmm. The commercials when you're watching previews at the movie theater.
Wow.
Stop. I understand ads are not going anywhere. Ads are everywhere. All right. But you're already showing me advertisements for other movies. That's what the previews are for.
That's the point.
I don't need a VRBO commercial mixed in there too with Kermit the Frog singing. I don't need to see driver's insurance commercials. I get those at home.
Right.
Why are we doing that? And they're not like one at the beginning, one at the end. They're like sprinkled throughout now. Just stop that.
You used to they would say, there'd be, well, first of all, let's just say I missed the trivia. Remember the trivia?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
that was fun.
Those were the glory days. But then, they did start to do if you showed up super early. Remember when you used to show up super early for a movie?
Yep.
used to show up half an hour before the previews would start.
I've been to the movies before there's anything even on the screen.
Right?
Yeah.
Those were the real good days.
Yeah, you're a real one if you've ever done that.
You're just like us.
Yep.
You're a couple of red bandits.
Yeah.
So, and then they started to do this thing, which they're growing on, which is just like, hey, if you're like half an hour before the movie starts,
Yeah.
we'll give you a little, hey, here's some TV shows coming out, some interviews,
Behind the scenes stuff. Yeah.
behind the scenes,
Good stuff.
And then you'd get like one Sprite commercial with Drake,
Yeah.
right?
The one where all his like skin platelets are opening up.
It'd be like one Sprite commercial, Drake, maybe LeBron James cranberry Sprite commercial.
But those made sense, right? Because
Right.
it's like Sprite. You're at the movies. They want to drive people to the concession stand. That's how
Yeah.
theaters make their money. That makes somewhat sense. It's in the
little
realm. VRBO?
No,
Why am I seeing that?
Airbnb.
Right. Like, why?
It better be a movie trailer about someone gets an Airbnb and then there is someone who comes and kills them, and that's Dave Bautista. And
Yeah.
they did show that. But
Or it better be a movie about someone who gets an Airbnb and when they show up, someone's already there.
ooh,
And then they go down to some secret tunnel and it's called Barbarian.
and it's called Barbarian and it's on HBO Max right now, and I'm going to try and watch it this weekend.
There you go.
But if it's not that,
Yeah.
and it's Bill Skarsgård,
Yeah.
and then they should make a movie with fucking Bill Skarsgård and Dave Bautista, and they're fucking just killing people.
At Airbnbs and VRBOs.
But they shouldn't just be showing commercials for those things independent of a movie trailer where a ginormous former wrestler is one of the greatest dramatic actors of our time.
And it used to be the trailers already were kind of long.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was like, okay, the movie says it starts at 7:30, but it's really going to be like 7:45 after 15 minutes of trailers.
Right.
We clocked it last night. Our movie start time was 7:35. The movie itself was not actually going till after 8.
That's crazy.
Wild. Which, okay, it gives you more time to get to the theater if you're running late.
Right.
But like, damn, man. It's an extra 30-minute runtime.
Now, here's an issue I'm running into as well, which is, okay, so like certain theaters there needs to be something that lets you know, because then you got the Icon cinemas.
Mm-hmm.
They either show like 2 or 3 movie previews, or I've experienced it where they don't show any.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, I have extra time and I don't. And all of a sudden I'm walking in and the inciting incident has already happened.
Damn.
And that's a problem too. So I need there needs to be just some transparency, I think is what I need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let you know. Actually, here's a cool idea. Unless they already do this, but in the app, like Fandango, it'll tell you, it'll give you a countdown. Like if you purchase your ticket on there and have it in your Apple Wallet, whatever, it gives you the countdown till your movie starts.
Right.
That would be cool if it had like the Domino's pizza tracker. Like, all right, we're 15 trailers in. You still have 10 commercials before your movie even starts, and have like a little meter fill up. So I
like the meter. Yeah, it's like, okay, Melissa Menounos is still on.
Maria.
Why is that so
close? That's when you go to the Dollar Theater. It's a Melissa Menounos.
The Dollar Theater, it's Melissa Menounos. Oh, it's like Carmen Sandiego. I don't know. Same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Maria Menounos starring as Carmen Sandiego in the Carmen Sandiego live action. What even is that? Anyways,
I don't know.
I'm very tired right now. 'That was so funny.
That was great.
Well, okay, so this is I've seen a movie at Regal and I've seen a movie at Cinemark all within the last week. The experiences are incredibly like similar. This is what, you know what, and this is what Regal gets points for.
Yeah.
They got that little thing in the beginning where you're like on a little roller coaster.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's the best, isn't it?
That's wonderful.
That's the best.
I think
Cinemark needs that.
Doesn't Regal also have like an app where you can play a game?
They do.
Every now and then, interactive game. Everyone in the theater can play it.
Yes, they got that situation.
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
So they're trying. Yeah, so you got a couple of things. You got the Maria Menounos type deal. You get like where they're like advertising that they're going to be showing like a live symphony at the movie theater.
It's always like the opera.
Yeah, there's like an opera thing you can go see. I wonder if people see those things.
I'm sure the older crowd.
Yeah,
probably.
Then they'll have like we're showing a Studio Ghibli film.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Why is this so funny to me right now? It's just like all the key like deals.
It's like what is it called? Phantom something? Phantom Ticket or Phantom?
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called, but yeah, they'll show like opera, Studio Ghibli, or like a fight.
Right. There's like a boxing match.
Come see Juarez versus Martinez.
Why is everything so funny right now? It just is. It's just so fucking funny.
It's cool because it's true.
It's just so true.
We're speaking truth right now.
We are.
Yeah. By the way, yeah, there's going to be spoilers. So.
Oh yeah.
You know.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anyone who cares about spoilers for the new Halloween movie. I think we all know how every single Halloween movie ends anyway.
Right. Which
this one ended slightly different, maybe.
Possibly.
But we'll get into that. Yeah. So how do you feel about it after seeing it? Because I know there were some mixed reviews.
I think I was incredibly confused.
Mm-hmm.
I did look at some stuff after too, and it was like, it's true. Like, it was an incredibly mismarketed movie.
Yeah.
They, speaking of the trailers, they presented a movie in the trailers that was kind of completely different than what it actually was.
Yeah.
And that was odd.
If we're going to come right out of the gate with this one, I would say that the trailer, what you think the movie's going to be, is like the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's like also kind of a weird structure for a trilogy to have the first two be over the course of 12-hour period, 24-hour period, let's say.
Yeah.
The first two movies take place in 24 hours, and then the third movie is like 4 years later.
Yep. 4 years later over the course of like what, a month? I don't know how long it was. It was a little bit.
Yeah. That was pretty odd. To have this sort of Michael Myers is hiding in the sewer and has been kind of just sitting there for like 4 years.
Yeah, it was a little bit of like It.
Yeah, it was a little bit like It.
Yeah. I got It vibes.
A little too much. Well, I wish it was a little more like It, actually. It was pretty fucking great.
Yeah.
So it was just a lot of confusion. It was just like, oh, really? Okay. That was a choice.
Yeah.
You did that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're going there. And that was that's how I felt while watching it.
It was a roller coaster. I will say acting pretty good, really. I mean,
besides, to me, I did not like the acting of the main guy.
Oh, you didn't?
The new main guy.
Okay.
I did not like him. I did not like the moments in which he was supposed to be doing an evil laugh.
Oh, yeah.
I thought That's not an evil laugh. But you like the acting.
I thought, yeah, I like it didn't stand out to me as horrible.
Sure.
And Jamie Lee Curtis is always great.
She's awesome.
Yeah. To me, the thing that stood out the most was the pacing of stuff. The pacing was very interesting. And I will say, like, was I entertained? Yeah.
Yeah.
In a way that I was constantly, exactly like you said, like, just, am I in the right movie?
Right.
Sometimes.
Right.
Which probably not what you want, but like the pacing of the love story was so wild to me, man. This movie was wild. Like they really reached into their bag of just wild tricks and said, let's fuck with them.
Yeah.
Let's throw something at the wall, whatever it happens to be. Let's kind of go with it. And
Right.
like, yeah, the granddaughter of Jamie Lee Curtis's character, she meets this guy who in the beginning of the movie is like deemed as a killer, the town killer.
Yeah.
Because in the opening of the movie was kind of wild.
It was wild.
I'll say that I didn't expect that. They got me there.
Maybe my favorite part, honestly.
Yeah, the opening of the movie takes place in 2019, and it's this guy on Halloween. He's babysitting this kid, and the kid is like playing a prank on him, locking him in the attic, making him think, he freaked out a little bit, thinking Michael Myers might have been in the house.
Right.
The guy starts to freak out. He has anger issues. He's kicking the door, and then he kicks it, and it hits the kid, and the kid falls back over the railing of their 2-story house and splat on the ground as the parents walk in and see, and he dies.
Yeah.
And so now that guy's deemed as like a babysitter killer, or not babysitter killer, but he's a babysitter who kills. He's a psycho. He's the town freak now.
Right.
And that guy ends up being like free. He's walking around now.
Yeah, they didn't really.
Yeah,
that
they
was
didn't show.
Another thing they didn't explain.
No, he's just like out. Not like escaped. He's just. I guess they were just like, nah, it's all right.
Like maybe he did like a year in jail. I guess maybe some probation.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, he's out, and Jamie Lee Curtis sees him getting picked on by some like high school kids.
By band kids.
By high school band kids.
Can
by the
we
way.
just? These were band kids who were acting like 80s jock characters.
Yeah.
That was odd.
Very interesting.
They're like Gen Z band kids who act like misogynistic 80s band characters, but they were like a diverse group of young people.
Yeah.
It was so, I don't think my senses were being like really fucked with in that sense.
It was like what I felt like if Euphoria had band kids in a movie.
Yeah.
They would be like these kids.
Yeah, it'd be like Euphoria high school kids, but they're in band for some reason.
Yeah.
But they want to they want a couple of 6-packs before they go play the trumpet.
Yeah. Which, by the way, that's why they started bullying this kid. Because he wouldn't buy them beer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then of course they said, "Oh, aren't you the guy who killed that kid?" And then they started picking on him. And then Jamie Lee Curtis came along, defended him, and he had sliced his hand open on a bottle of like Yoo-Hoo or something, chocolate milk. So she took him to the hospital.
Yeah.
Where her granddaughter works, because her granddaughter didn't want to go to the Halloween party unless she had someone to go with. So Jamie Lee Curtis, trying to play matchmaker, brought this guy in. And this is my point, is that the pacing of this connection happened a little too quickly for me.
Oh yeah.
They went, it was like watching a romantic comedy's progression in the matter of, I don't know, 5-10 minutes.
Easy.
Yeah, if that.
5-10 minutes. Easy.
She was like way into, and I don't mean into him like, oh, he's attractive. Like she was like in. She was already showing up to his place of work just to see him. And she says that in the movie. She's like, actually, I just came to see you, which, okay, that's fine, I guess.
Right.
It just happened so quick. And if you've seen the movie, I think you'll know what I'm talking about. But they went from that to like the party happens, I don't know, 1 or 2 days after they meet.
Yeah.
And they had this big explosion, eruption of an argument, kind of, where he storms out after being picked on. So the mother of the kid that he killed was at this party.
Right.
She starts like going off on him. He freaks out, has PTSD, leaves. So then Jamie Lee Curtis's granddaughter storms out after him, and he has this, he's storming off, he's brooding, and I just shouldn't have listened to you. I can't believe you brought me here. Where were you? Like, what do you mean? She was on the dance floor dancing. She was probably like 10 feet away, actually. He's acting as if she should have followed him everywhere he went throughout the party. I don't know. I just thought it was a really stupid thing to get angry about.
It's just bad, like, communication, just like terrible, unhealthy, like, expectations all around.
Yeah. And then to put it on her.
Yeah.
She didn't do anything wrong. You went to get a drink. She was dancing. What do you mean? Where was she? She was right there. You knew where she was.
It's like regulate your emotions. You know, like have an independent process. You don't need her to coddle you throughout it. And also, you guys just met, and like you said, you had that fight after the party is like you talked about the romantic comedy structure. That's like the
3/4.
Exactly.
That's the 3/4 after they've been dating for a while.
Yes.
They've met each other's parents.
Yes.
Some kind of secrets revealed, and then they fight. This was like, you've known each other for 2 days. And she was starting to cry too as he was leaving. And she did this weird thing with her hands. She just held him out. And then he walked away, and then she went and then it faded into the moon. I don't know, man. Their progression was just so weird to me.
It's so fucking weird. And I'm trying to think they did nothing to give any context to the fact that she may have had it wasn't very clear whether or not Jamie Lee Curtis knew that she liked this boy and that's why, or she just thought maybe he's a nice boy. But then they also kind of allude to the fact that the granddaughter may have had her eye on him for a while, but it's never actually clear. And also it's been how far into the movie and there's not even a glimpse of Michael Myers yet.
Oh yeah, we should mention in just like the movie, we're halfway through our episode and we haven't even mentioned Michael Myers. We haven't
mentioned Michael Myers.
Well, and that's just like the movie.
That's just like the fucking movie.
That you don't even get a glimpse of him till, I'd say halfway through.
It's about yeah.
At least it's kind of the Godzilla effect. Yes,
not good for a Michael Myers movie.
No,
the part of the. I'll just say, I'll get right into that. I mean, I had to go home and watch the original.
Yeah.
Just to cleanse my palate a little. And part of the appeal of the original is there's almost a heavy focus on the origin of Michael Myers. There's a lot of lore surrounding him. You're learning a lot about him as you're realizing he's running the streets, while there's some people kind of low-key trying to find him but not trying to start a panic because it would freak everyone out. And you're seeing him, we're cutting to him stalking his prey.
Yeah.
It's just this thing, and it's that wasn't how it went the first time. That's typically not even in the Halloween 2018, he's pretty heavy involved. I don't know. I don't know, man.
I think when you spent so much time on the previous two movies building up, I never saw the Halloween that was before the most recent, I don't know, Halloween Kills. I didn't see the one before that.
Okay.
Where they tried to trap him and set him on fire and stuff.
Right.
But to me, when you have that movie, and then you followed up with Halloween Kills, it just to me seems it's coming to a head. This one needed to take it to the next step, and to me it feels like it peaked and then we slowed down a lot, really put the brakes on. And it almost didn't even feel like a Halloween Michael Myers movie because it was more focused on this new guy,
right?
And almost his origin story as a villain in a way, rather than
then is kind of made obsolete towards the end, but I guess we'll get there. But thinking about how the trilogy works out, it's almost like they should have done it in reverse. Because the way this movie did feel, it kind of felt like that if it was a modern day reboot where they do some sort of commentary on what Michael Myers did to the town and someone getting inspired by his shenanigans and, you know, then almost trying to like become him. And then he's back. But instead, like, so that the one you didn't see is probably the best one, in my opinion.
Is it? Okay.
After seeing all three now. And it's like, because there's this like Jamie Lee Curtis versus Michael Myers epic showdown after all this time. Michael Myers is out. She always knew he was going to escape. This is it. Like, we're doing it. And then they have their showdown. And then it goes into Halloween Kills.
Yeah.
And then it goes into this. But I'm like, there was no semblance of an epic showdown.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, where were we on this?
Yeah, no, actually, now that you said that, that would have been much better, because it seems as if this movie came first.
Yeah.
It's almost, it's been 40 years since we've seen Michael Myers. He's more of a folklore tale at this point.
Right.
The town is recovering. They maybe even, celebrate him in a way where it's like they put his face up on posters every Halloween, and it's kind of this thing now.
Right.
When really he's dwelling in the sewers like it, and this one kid stumbles in there and now has him lure people in so he can get stronger. And then you have the next two movies.
Right.
Where it's a big showdown. Also, when that part happened in the sewer, I said, is this going to be like Star Wars Episode 1? Where, you remember when they had like force speed, force dash?
Yeah.
And they introduced it randomly
in
Episode 1, and you never saw force dash
ever
again. And so I started thinking, is this going to be like that, where all of a sudden Michael Myers can like transfer himself into someone? Because that's kind of what it seemed like, right?
That's what it felt like.
He grabs this kid by the throat in the sewer after he drags him in there, and like stares into his eyes as he's strangling the shit out of him. And then the kid has kind of like a montage flash moment of when he murdered the kid he was babysitting on accident.
Right.
And then Michael Myers lets the guy go. And the guy kind of is almost like possessed by Michael Myers, just a little bit. He starts acting like him, like standing by the bushes, creeping on Jamie Lee Curtis's house.
Yeah.
And then he starts killing a bunch. Like he lures people into the sewer so Michael Myers can kill them and get stronger. But then the two of them have a little duo.
Yeah.
They start to kill people together, which I thought was cool. But anyway, I just thought it was like, are we doing that thing where he can just transfer himself? And is that how this is going to keep going?
Exactly. Yeah. They're like introducing that concept. And then they do something, and because now I'm remembering, and it's like, they're kind of doing this thing where they're like, I see Michael's eyes in his eyes, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, then they do something I don't know if I've ever seen. I'm sure I've seen this in a movie before, but I've never seen it done this weirdly, where like the morning after he has the experience with Michael Myers in the sewers and he walks home, I guess the dad of the kid he killed pulled up next to him and wanted to say something to him, but they don't show that until a little bit later when Jamie Lee Curtis is talking to the dad. Yeah. And he's like, the other day I pulled up next to him and, wanted to see the humanity in him. And then I saw that there was nothing behind those eyes. But it was just really weird to be like, oh, like, I don't know. I guess I would have thought they would usually like show that briefly and then like refer back to it. But then they just it was interesting format. And
maybe they did.
Maybe they did
cut it, because this movie was already running on close to 2 hours.
A little long.
Little, yeah. And then you went to the bathroom during this part.
Right.
But when he like shows up to the house after, Michael Myers puts himself inside of him and he scares Jamie Lee Curtis, and she starts to see for a minute, this might be Michael Myers reincarnated, whatever.
Right.
He says, I'm just here to see the daughter, or see your granddaughter. And they go for a walk. He tells her straight up, I murdered somebody.
Yeah.
I killed someone last night. And then he just holds his hand out.
Right.
She takes it, and then they go on this montage thing of them like going for a walk and going through the old house that he killed the boy in. And
which, by the way, like he just like kind of accidentally stabs a random homeless man.
Yeah.
That's the kill.
Yeah.
So that's first of all odd. And then I'm glad I missed that part, I guess, because Christ, I mean, yeah, it's just he's sitting there and he's like, I killed someone. And she's like,
she literally says nothing.
Yeah.
By the way.
Just nothing.
She may as well have just been like, she may have just shrugged it off.
She's like,
she should have just,
bet.
Yeah, right. She was like, bet. For sure. Right on. So when are we going to fuck?
Right. Which is, yeah. There's also a part where that's kind of ambiguous where, what was that scene?
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis was in the driveway.
Yeah.
And she saw them
like going
upstairs and she just stood outside and she just stood there.
So yeah, it's like what part in like the love story, like romantic trope is it like I accidentally killed someone? Oh, no worries.
Right. And I don't think he even said accidentally.
He just said he killed someone.
And there were weird beats like that a couple times in the movies where someone would just have a throwaway line and then the scene would just end like that. I killed someone.
So
silently holds his hand out.
Right.
End scene.
This might be a good time because I told you I would talk about the Danny McBride connection.
Oh, right.
This is probably a good time to bring that up. So Danny McBride and the director, David Gordon Green, they are creative partners.
And for those, yes, we are talking about Danny McBride, Eastbound and Down, Pineapple Express.
The Danny
McBride, who does mainly comedies. This is such a random thing for him to be a producer on.
Right.
In my opinion, maybe. I mean,
well, it's part of that, comedian has a true love for the horror genre. It's what we got with Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
But Jordan Peele's got it a little better. It's like, I mean, and this is a fairly new, obviously this is a pretty new concept. But it's a result of more creative freedom. But it's really when you actually okay, you do comedy forever because that's your bag. And then it's once you have the freedom to do whatever you want, you're kind of okay, what I think I really want to do is reboot Halloween because we actually love that shit. And excuse me, David Gordon Green, Danny McBride, Ben Best, rest in peace. I think he died. There's this guy named Ben Best. He was in The Foot Fist Way, which is one of Danny McBride's original movies that they made, that little crew. And then there's another director, the guy who directed Observe and Report is also part of that little crew.
Starring Seth Rogen.
Yeah, and it's there's 4 of them, 5 or 5 of them who all went to film school together, and they just became, and then Danny McBride broke into the industry, and then other of them got to a few of the other of them got to follow through. They made The Foot Fist Way, then they made Eastbound and Down. And that kind of that's what propelled them into stardom.
Yeah.
And David Gordon Green, the director of this Halloween trilogy, is part of that deal. And of course, Danny McBride, executive producer. Now, if you watch Eastbound and Down, Vice Principals, fucking The Righteous Gemstones, right? The Foot Fist Way, anything that's been a collaboration of this Danny McBride universe, David Gordon Green has a very specific directing style with odd pacing, awkward cuts, random one-liners right before a cut,
Yeah.
It's based on watching this trilogy. That style does not work for anything but comedy. Because it's to what you said, there would be a random throwaway line and then a random cut.
Yeah.
Usually when you're watching something like Eastbound and Down, Vice Principals, The Righteous Gemstone, they're doing that, but Danny McBride is saying the funniest thing you ever fucking heard in your life and then random cut.
Yeah, yeah.
It does not work for a horror film, a drama film. It only works for comedy when you have the funniest people in the world saying and it's just and I'm thinking it because I love these guys so much. I have watched everything they've ever done a few times, you know, and I've really picked up on that directing style of David Gordon Green. So when I'm watching it in the Halloween movies, I'm like, I see the style, but it does not translate.
And that's it. It almost felt funny.
Yes.
Like we were kind of laughing to ourselves during these parts. And again, I questioned, am I seeing the right movie?
Yeah, it doesn't work when you're trying to make an impactful, like suspenseful, terrifying, you know, gut-wrenching, heart-wrenching like film. It works. It's a monumental directing style for the comedy genre. Yeah. And it is a potentially atrocious directing style for anything else. Yeah. That was my takeaway after watching these, because I watched the Halloween Kills the night before too. Mm-hmm. So after digesting that, I'm just like, oh yeah, like this Danny McBride universe, like style of directing and you know, whatever is like, it only works for that.
Definitely. Definitely. And I will say, though, that the killings in this movie were pretty creative.
Some of the craziest I've ever seen.
Creative, yet brutal.
Yeah.
They didn't come from Michael Myers. They came from the guy, the new guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had an anger problem that you could see at the beginning of the movie. And then that translates to his creative killing, which was just like, damn. Mm-hmm. Damn. And in Michael Myers fashion, he had no regard for anyone. That had that asshole group of Euphoria band kids. Right. There was one girl in that group who was actually nice to him. Right. And while the other ones are bullying him and beating him up, she's going, stop. Hey, are you okay? Like, guys, stop that. And he still murks her.
In a pretty fucked up way, too.
Fucked up way, man. She's trying to climb over a fence and he like drives through it and pins her to the ground. And she's still like alive and stuff. And then he kills all of her friends while she's pinned under this fence. And then he just curb stomps her head in.
Curb stomps her head.
Holy shit.
Gears of War style.
Yeah. I was like, damn. And he killed his mom too.
He did that. I was like, fucking thank God. I mean, that lady was the worst.
She was kind of
that
awful.
Was random too. I was like, what the fuck is up with his mom?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
This weird, like, motherly trope that, like, you know, is just, like, so random. Yeah, like, when he comes home after the killing thing and she's just standing outside the bathroom, like, where were you all night?
And the dinner scene.
Yeah.
When he gets a text and she freaks the fuck out. So it felt so random.
It was so random.
He got a text from Jamie Lee Curtis's granddaughter about the Halloween party.
Yeah.
And she was like, who are you texting? Who is that? who are you? Tell me who you're texting right now. And
yeah.
I was like,
oh my God. And then the dad is all like, what does he say at that random moment where he was just like, I hope you find love.
Again, another throwaway line before the scene cuts. It was, I don't remember. This was when he came home late.
Okay.
And she said, I can smell her on you.
Right.
And she freaks out and storms upstairs. And the dad's just sitting there and says, I hope you find love. And then the scene ends.
It was just like, all right, Dad.
Yeah.
Who, like, yeah. Does he accidentally know? The dad accidentally gets killed when he's killing the band kids because the kid shoots him after the dad realizes that it's not Michael Myers, it's his son.
Yes.
And then, so that was odd too. But yeah, I think, and then yes, I mean, he kills his mom, which was, how did he kill her again? I forgot.
Stabbed her.
He just gave her a good stabbing.
Gave her the old kitchen knife.
The old kitchen knife in the, oh yeah. Yeah. The old POV Michael Myers kitchen knife.
Yeah.
To the face.
Classic.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So then, and then they kill he kills the doctor. Well, hold on. Am I cutting too far? No, then he kills the radio guy, right?
Yeah, man, that was intense. That was crazy. Or did he kill
the doctor first? I don't remember.
I think it was him and Michael Myers did a double team on that one. They tag teamed.
Yeah. Yeah, they did the double team on the doctor and the chick.
Yeah.
The nurse. Fun
times.
That was okay.
You know, and I didn't hate the duo deal that was happening.
Right.
I didn't hate the little I don't know what you would call it, mentorship that was happening because everyone's so focused on the new kid. They're like, who the fuck is this kid stabbing this dude outside this house, and then the real guy, Michael Myers, comes up from behind, and it kind of worked.
Like, oh shit.
I mean, at this point in the movie, it worked the most out of what I had seen so far. So
this is what I hated. And I just remembered this.
Yeah.
And it made me mad again. Then, and this happens between, I guess, yeah, this makes sense. So this happens between him and Michael Myers double teaming. Interesting concept, didn't hate it. And when he kills the band kids, but he goes back into the sewer, fights Michael Myers.
And when we say fight, it's kind of like a middle school fight where two kids just have their arms around each other and kind of shoving back and forth.
They had a tussle.
That's really more what it was.
This guy goes into the sewers, tussles with the almighty Michael Myers, manages to get him down, and takes his mask.
Yeah.
And like the dialogue, which the dialogue is probably the toughest thing for me about this movie. And it was just like the way he was just kind of like, what was he? He was just kind of like, I'm taking this now. This is mine now. Or I know that's not what it was, but it was just like that.
It may as well have been.
Yeah. And
yeah,
he just did that for. It was kind of not super clear what his beef was there with Mr. Myers.
Yeah.
He just kind of took the mask and then.
I guess he thought he could do better.
Yeah, maybe that was it.
Yeah. He
was like, you're old news now. It was like The Last Jedi. He's like, we have to kill off the old guard, the old Jedi. We imagine what it looks like.
He said, you've been doing this for 40 years. I've been doing this for 4 days. I know I can do it better than you.
Typical millennials.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have loved if Michael Myers, which is funny because after he takes his mask off, he does kind of do this like just upshoot.
Oh, the typical, yeah.
But it would just be fun if he turned to the camera and just went, millennials, huh? Freaking millennials.
At the way the movie had gone thus far, nothing else would have really surprised me.
Not at all.
It could have switched to a mockumentary and had a Michael Myers talking head.
Right.
At that point. Like, I don't know. It was just there were a lot of random things came out of left field.
Yes.
Though I think the biggest part to me that still didn't really add up was the end.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
I'm already laughing, dude. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so Jamie Lee Curtis kind of pisses everyone off in the town.
Yeah.
Just by nature, they're kind of sick of her and they call her psycho and you just want attention. And then the granddaughter gets mad at her because Jamie Lee Curtis obviously sees Michael Myers in this kid and doesn't want her granddaughter to get involved with him.
Right.
Plus he wants to run away with her.
Right.
So naturally Jamie Lee Curtis is trying to protect her granddaughter and granddaughter doesn't like that. So Jamie Lee Curtis is having a bad night and it's Halloween. This is the end of the movie. And she's done a little bit of drinking. She goes upstairs and she calls 911 and said, I just want to report a suicide at her address. And then she hangs up and gets a gun and points it to her head. Now, at this point, we're thinking, man, is she really going to do it? Is she really going to off herself in this movie?
Right.
And then you hear the gunshot go off. You hear this like splatter sound. I knew she didn't shoot herself. I knew it was the pumpkin that she shot.
You could tell.
Yeah. And then you get the POV of the kid in the Michael Myers mask walking and he pushes open the door. And then she turns around and says, did you really think I was going to shoot myself? And then she shoots him twice and he falls down the stairs.
Yeah.
This is where my issue lies with it. That scene could have been really cool.
Right.
If we had any illusion that plan was going to have that result. Like what I'm getting at is, how did she know that faking suicide was going to attract Michael Myers to her house?
Right.
So that she could do that. There was no lead up to it. There was no Home Alone schematics planning for the villain to show up. There was no build up to that. She hadn't even seen Michael Myers to that point.
No.
Other than seeing him through in that kid.
Right.
So again, that scene would have been cool had it been motivated. It didn't feel motivated. I felt lost.
Yep.
I was like, how do you get that? How did she know that that would make him show up? I don't, unless I'm missing something, unless I'm misinterpreting it. But
you're not missing anything. That's the problem. That's the problem with a good chunk of this movie is there really is no, there's like scenes where the characters are explaining everything. There is no like, what would you say? That's exposition, right?
Yeah.
They are heavy-handed on exposition. There are scenes where they are just like, you know, well, your mom, or maybe your grandma is doing this to cover up the fact that she feels this way. And it's like, that's not how people talk.
Yeah.
First of all. So there's scenes where they're doing shit like that, where they're like, well, I was just unconsciously acting this way because I really need to have control over everything. And it's just like that people don't say shit like that.
Yeah.
Second of all, then there's scenes with absolutely zero explanation. And they're not even showing or telling. They're just doing something. And so that was the issue with that scene. Yeah, there is nothing to indicate. Like the fact that she would... So that's the hardest part. Why call the cop? Like, well, I guess I did think like maybe she does that so that the cops will come to her house.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. The cops will be there. They'll catch Michael Myers or they'll something. Right. And also, if they had just brought the gun out in the last movie, we might have not even needed this movie.
All of them.
But I made this point last year or whatever when we've talked about this, that they brought very townsfolk weapons to the situation. They're beating Michael Myers with like a rake and a bat and a crowbar. I'm thinking, does no one in this town, even a cop, have a gun?
This is like the most liberal city ever. They're like, we don't believe in that. Even their serial killer only uses knives.
Yeah.
How fun is that?
Exactly. So when I finally saw a gun on the table, I thought, great.
Yeah.
They got the memo.
We got a gun here.
And now she's going to use it on herself. Awesome.
Right.
But then she doesn't. She shoots the kid twice, which I saw coming.
Of course.
I was like, oh, she's going to kill this kid and think that she got Michael Myers and Michael Myers will show up. But so then he's downstairs bleeding out.
Yeah.
And dying. And she's standing over him, you know, confident, victorious. Like, I told you to stay away from my granddaughter type of stuff. And then he kills himself. He gets the knife and he says, if I can't have her, no one can. And stabs the knife into his throat. This is what I don't understand about her acting in this scene.
Right.
She was very confidently standing over him. She clearly shot him twice with the intention of killing him. He fell down the stairs. And for some reason, when he stabbed the knife into his throat, she acted traumatized by that. She all of a sudden was like, no. And then the granddaughter walked in and that made it worse. And she was like, you know, bracing herself against the wall. Like, weren't you going to kill him anyway?
Right.
Why?
Like you actually did just try and kill him.
Yeah.
Like your granddaughter would have walked in and seen that you had killed, actually, whether it was shooting him 10 times or a knife, you were killing him.
Yeah.
I mean.
So that didn't add up for me either.
No.
And then, of course, the granddaughter sees Jamie Lee Curtis with the knife in her hand, the dude bleeding out. I can't believe this, storms out of the house. She starts to just...
Once again, storms out of the house. The guy goes up to her, I killed someone. It's okay, let's go.
Yeah.
You walk in, you just see that your grandmother potentially stabbed the guy you're dating in the neck, and you storm out as if you caught them kissing or something. You know? Or as if you caught someone cheating on you. And then, like what?
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Just the very interesting choices throughout this movie.
Right.
I won't say that they were bad or good. I'm gonna just say they were interesting.
I'll say they're bad.
They weren't what I was expecting. They were very different, very different choices. And then you have the final showdown. Michael Myers walks in. She knows.
She knows.
The back door's open, which nobody in these movies ever locks the fucking door, apparently.
Like, I mean,
ever.
wow.
We haven't learned in 40 something years to lock our doors and turn on some lights.
Maybe get a Ring camera.
Yeah, maybe. Get a few of them.
Get a couple of Ring cameras.
Yeah.
Security system. Guns, like we've talked about.
Something. You would think. At least on Halloween night, I would strap up since this guy comes out once a year.
Grenade.
Yeah, right? Grenade launcher.
Something.
Flamethrower. I mean, damn. And then turning on lights, man. People in these movies get freaked out by a sound.
Yeah.
And it doesn't ever occur to them to turn on the lights.
Just turn it on.
Why are we watching or why are these people leaving all these lights off in these houses anyway? They're literally just desk lamps.
Right.
That are on in these movies for most of it.
Right.
And we haven't learned to turn on the light yet.
No.
I don't know. But anyway, she sees the back door open. She realizes Michael's in the house.
Yeah.
He gets his mask. They go at it. And pretty good.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, he was brutal. She was brutal back.
Yeah.
And I guess you didn't need a super long fight scene given the previous two movies had a lot of them kind of back and forth. Although in Halloween Kills, she didn't even come in contact with him, did she?
No, she doesn't.
That's right. That was my gripe with that movie is that the trailer made it look like they were going to have this big showdown. They didn't even see each other the entire movie. So maybe you did need a little bit longer of a fight scene or I don't know, just this is culmination of 40 plus years these two have been doing this.
Which is like the fight scene they did have in the first one, which is epic, calculated, smart, Home Alone-esque, traps. It's, it's her prepared, militaristic situations. Yeah. She does have cameras all around that property.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, see, I need to see this other one.
It's everything we think that should have happened in this one happens in the first one, and that's not okay.
Right. But they finally did do something that I've been saying for a while.
Yes.
They didn't just stab him one time and then drop the weapon and stumble back and think that they did it, right?
Finally.
She stabs both of his hands into the counter, throws the fridge down on him.
Yeah.
Slits his throat, slits his wrist, lets him bleed out. And then they strap him to a car.
Yeah.
And they drive to the junkyard where the evil kid worked.
Right.
And the townsfolk are all following in a line like it's a procession.
Yeah.
Funeral procession.
Yeah.
And then they get there and then they crowd surf him.
Like Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. Like Spider-Man 2 train scene. They crowd surf him over to it's not a meat grinder, but it's like that thing that takes, you throw anything in it and it just compacts it and destroys it. And they throw him in there.
After him not being there for a while, them not knowing he's really back, he reveals himself. It gets pretty easily overpowered and killed, and then gets grinded into a bunch of little pieces.
And I low-key thought for a second that as she was standing over that little grinder thing, that he was going to come back to life and pull her down with him.
Same.
I really thought that was going to happen.
Yep. Would have probably been actually kind of cool.
It would have been, I mean, Halloween ends, right?
Right.
Both of them are just, that whole family line is just done now. But didn't happen. I didn't understand what they could have been alluding to in the very last shot. Did you? So the guy that she made friends with in the hospital in the previous movie,
right?
He's kind of got a thing for her, and we see him sprinkled throughout. He's one of the cops as well,
right? He
shows up at her house at the end. There was also something about cherry blossoms. I think I missed that because they kept saying something about cherry blossoms.
There was something in there, yeah.
So then her last line is, "Tell me again about what the cherry blossom. Tell me about the cherry blossoms." I don't know, something like that.
Right.
And then the camera just is holding on this shot where it's her office in the house, and then the Michael Myers mask is on the table, and then the movie ends. So, I don't know.
I think they were maybe trying to say that Halloween ended.
Officially. She's embraced her demon.
Yeah, like she's you know, she allows it to it's a and that's the problem with this movie is there are attempts, kind of like when I watch like the Halloween Kills, it feels like there were attempts to send some sort of message, but it wasn't clear what message they were trying to send.
Yeah. Oh, and I should mention, after the granddaughter storms out, she starts driving away. She has a change of heart.
Yep.
I don't remember what triggered that. Do you?
I don't know.
Something triggered it for her to go back. And she realized, yeah, this guy was bad. She saw the radio tower on fire at the radio station.
Right.
And that was that was a place that he liked to go and like hang out. And he talked to her about it, whatever. So she had a change of heart, went back to the house, and Michael Myers is choking out Jamie Lee Curtis after she already slit his throat, by the way. And he's still like choking her out. And the granddaughter comes in and grabs his arm and just like breaks it and just like hits it against the counter and snaps it. And then Jamie Lee Curtis slits his wrist.
And she snaps it, and then she kind of is like, no, he was actually bad. Like she just kind of drops it in there.
The granddaughter again had some kind of weird one-liner.
Yeah.
That I don't remember what she said, but she's
like, I'm sorry I didn't believe you.
Something. Or it was something like, no, I'm not going to let this happen to you or something, and then snaps the guy's arm.
And she's kind of just like, no. It's cool now.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's like, it's chill. Like, he probably lit a fire at the radio station. So actually that like reveals everything to me that I was ignoring 5 seconds ago.
Yeah. Even though he told me straight up that he murdered someone. That was all I needed to see. I don't know. Overall, it just wasn't the movie I was expecting to see.
No.
For sure. The storylines were not ones I was anticipating seeing. They had a lot of random one-liners like that. Some interesting pacing, some different kind of cuts. And, is it really over? I doubt it.
No.
It's either going to be rebooted or there will be some kind of loophole. I also kept expecting the kid who was laying on the floor to all of a sudden be gone.
Right.
When they went back. And then it's like, oh, Michael Myers now lives on through this kid. Now I got to worry about him.
Right.
They never I don't think they ever mentioned him again.
Nope.
They didn't show the cops like wrapping up his body. They didn't, I bet if they reboot it, it will probably be that dude's getting carried off to the coroner's office or whatever. Right. And then he'll bust out of the body bag and come up and
of course
we'll start again. Halloween begins.
Yeah. Halloween begins again.
Yeah.
No, they made this guy the brand new main character of a movie completely out of left field after having zero association with the prior two movies of the trilogy, and then he dies at the end and it doesn't really feel like anything happened.
Yeah. I almost would have been more satisfied if Michael Myers had killed the kid.
Me too.
Than Jamie Lee Curtis.
Me too.
Because it would almost have been, okay, you just tried to tussle me in a cave. Let me show you who's still boss.
Who's the man?
Yeah, you don't fuck with the boogeyman.
Yep.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Kills him. That, he summons up all the juice of the killings that the kid had, and now he's full blown again. I think that would have been more satisfying to see.
Right.
But we didn't get that. I remember something else I was going to say too. I'm assuming that the main connection, the reason Michael Myers let this kid live in the sewer is because maybe he saw the potential killer in him.
Maybe.
Right? Because he had accidentally killed that kid.
Right.
I'm guessing. Because even the homeless guy who sits outside the sewer was like, I've seen people go in there and why did he let you live?
Right.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
That's what they alluded to anyway.
It's alluded to.
With the little, they're looking in each other's eyes and then the quick flash sequence to when the incident happened and then he just let him go. So I guess.
Once again, like over explaining some scenes, just like way over explaining, and then just not giving any clear answers.
Yeah.
But I guess so, which is a funny way to like, could they not have had like someone who actually was like a mentally ill potential killer to like, instead of someone who just accidentally kicked a kid down like 2 flights of stairs?
Yeah.
Just like, could they have had like a legit, like fucked up in the head person who was just like, you know, struggling with his own internal conflict for being like a sociopath and having the desire to take people's lives and being kind of confused about it, and then meeting Michael Myers and being like, oh my God, like that's who I am. Like I'm like this. I'm like him. I relate to him.
Yeah. So overall, nutshell, this movie was kind of an origin story without being an origin story, without even kind of didn't feel like a Michael Myers story.
No.
And we'll just go ahead and say last 10 minutes of the movie is really when Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers go at it. Other than that, it's kind of this side story of this kid becoming a killer, dying a killer, dating the granddaughter. I don't know. I can see why it's getting mixed reviews.
Yeah.
For sure. So, but I mean, if you've seen it, let us know what you thought.
Yeah.
If you liked it, if you hated it, if you're just kind of confused like us, we're a little kind of just, I don't know.
But you know what? This is the thing. You know, nothing beats, it doesn't matter what the movie is. Nothing beats hitting the theater with good friend.
Yes.
You know, good pal.
I agree.
Enjoying a flick.
And a spooky flick during spooky season.
Yeah.
It just hits different. So thank you all for joining us during our spooky season themed month. It's been fun.
It's been a great month.
I like the themes. Maybe we'll do another themed month, like Christmas month.
Yes.
Holiday themed or, something.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink.
Maybe there's a Christmas movie coming out that's a little bloody, a little R-rated, right up our alley.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking just maybe.
We'll just put it there.
Yeah, we'll put it there. And so you all, again, if you haven't seen the other Octoberfest episodes, go give them a watch.
Please.
Good quality stuff, great stories, real accounts from people. And if you've seen this movie or you're going to see it, let us know what you think. We're curious what other people think about Halloween Ends. And Halloween is coming up.
Halloween.
So have a safe, fun, spooky Halloween.
Very safe.
Lock the doors.
Yeah.
Turn on the lights.
Please.
If the boogeyman tries to attack you, finish the job.
Yeah.
Just finish the job.
Gun, head.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Yeah, John Wick that boy.
Yeah. Do it. Yeah, John Wick that boy.
And until next time, we will see you in November.
See you in November.
So take care.